Oh no. No. Pandesal is a popular bread in the Philippines, commonly consumed for breakfast, and I grew up eating this. Back when I was still living in Abu Dhabi, and now that I'm here in LA, it's quite challenging to find a bakery that makes this bread with the same taste and texture. Despite the name, Pandesal is rather sweet and salty. I'm just giving you a heads up just in case you want to try this. Bread making has always been intimidating, and from what you saw at the beginning of this episode, I'm damn right. Heck, I have nothing better to do at home, so let's do this. The Pandesal recipe I chose is from Women's Scribbles. It's got 5-star rating and wonderful reviews, plus the pictures look like legit Pandesal. I'll be placing the link to that website in the description box below. The ingredients listed are pretty simple. All you need is flour, salt, sugar, yeast, milk, canola oil, eggs, and breadcrumbs. You'll find the complete list of the recipe and instructions from her website. A few pointers she mentioned. Number 1, the milk should not exceed 110 degrees Fahrenheit to not kill the yeast. Number 2, if the yeast did not turn foamy after 10 minutes, discard the mixture because most likely the yeast is dead. And number 3, don't use more than half a cup of flour when you're kneading. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is stir together warm milk, yeast, and a tablespoon of sugar. Let this mixture stand until it's foamy. Just always remember not to go over 110 degrees so that you won't kill the yeast. Once the yeast mixture is ready, add in the eggs, sugar, and the oil. Gradually add in the flour and salt mixture, about a cup at a time. Mix everything with a spatula. Move this to the stand mixer and using a dough hook, select medium speed. After about 10 minutes, gradually sprinkle little amounts of flour to the dough to help the kneading process. Going back to the instructions, it tells us to continue to knead until the dough gathers in the center and is cleaning the sides and the bottom of the bowl. This should take about 20 minutes or so. I kinda did not feel right about this one just because I feel like 20 minutes is far too long, but I'm just following the instructions and let's see how it turns out. After about 20 minutes, the instruction says to gather the dough into a ball and place it inside a bowl and cover with a kitchen towel. Let the dough stand in room temperature to rise for an hour or so until the size is doubled. After about an hour, we deflate the dough. We divide it to equal portions and roll each portion in breadcrumbs. Place it on a parchment-lined baking pan. Once this is done, cover the rolls with a kitchen towel and let rise for another 30 minutes. The final step is then baking the dough in a preheated oven for 20 to 25 minutes or until the top is lightly golden. After baking it for 25 minutes, I took it out of the oven and I got so confused. The pandesal looked promising going in, but when I took it out, it didn't look right. It tastes good, but the texture was so dense and heavy. This is them after they cool down. Taksha po, from Pandesal to Pandebato, like literally a rock. Do you know that saying, if someone throws a stone at you, you throw a loaf of bread? Well, this is the kind of bread you want to arm yourself with. It was so disappointing. I followed the instructions to a T and it turned out like this. The comments on the recipe page were all great, apart from a few that says that the dough is too sticky. Other than that, I should be eating fluffy bread and not something that resembles pumice stone. So after this recipe, I researched and found out that bread making is an exact science. A lot of the factors affect the end product, such as temperature, time, amount of liquid, and even kneading. But I don't want to leave you depressed and myself disappointed, so I gave this recipe another shot. Only this time, instead of following the 20-minute kneading time, I instead shortened it to 5 minutes. On Kitchenaid's website, they say that 2 minutes using the machine is equivalent to 10 minutes of hand kneading. The dough will be stickier, but I lightly oiled my hands to help me shape the dough. That was actually the only thing that I changed, and the bread finally came together. The dough quickly doubled in size within the first hour of proofing, and as you can see here, it's super squishy. And then while shaping the dough portions, it was noticeably softer and fluffier than the first one. The pandesal turned out crusty on the outside, airy and fluffy on the inside, just how it should be. So you see, the ingredients and portions of Woman Scribble's recipe are correct. It was just the instructions regarding the kneading time that threw me off. First timers won't have any clue about under or over kneading, as well as the science behind bread making. My advice, please don't give up. You got this, and I believe in you. Also, please know your machine, don't overknead, and learn from my mistakes. Lastly, if all else fails, you can turn them into breadcrumbs for your next pandesal batch. We hope you learned something from our experience, and this inspires you to try something new. Thanks for stopping by. Talk soon!